impeachment ni VP Sara Duterte hindi na matutuloy? Naku po, yan ang ating pag-uusapan ngayong araw na ito ha. Dahil alam mo, matindi ho yung mga nangyayari sirkumstansya na sa paligid ng itong impeachment ni VP Sara Duterte. Kasi alam nyo, sabi nga nila, baka daw dahil sa ginagawang proseso, kasi sa batas, hindi sapat na maingay ang paratang, hindi sapat na malakas ang propaganda. Dapat talaga dyan ay tamang proseso at lalong hindi sapat na gigil ang mga Duterte haters. Kapag mali ang proseso, kapag may butas ang ebidensya, kapag may impormasyon na nakuha o nilabas sa kaduda-dudang paraan o illegal, di ba? Posible dyan palang gumuguho na ang buong kaso. Yun. Tulad nga lang nito. Ito, pag-uusapan na natin, simulan na natin. Yung tungkol doon sa paglabas ng AMLAC. Ito'y sobrang mali. Panoorin natin to.
Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point.
Sorry,
I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The Bureau of Internal Revenue has ordered a tax audit of Vice President Sara Duterte, her husband, Mans Carpio, and 9 businesses linked to the couple. This comes after the Anti-Money Laundering Council flagged billions of pesos in their bank transactions during the House Justice Committee's hearing on the impeachment complaints against the Vice President. But her husband's camp is pushing back, saying the release of their bank records violates the law. Let's get on point with his spokesperson, Attorney Neil Abayon. Attorney, nice to meet you. Thank you for your time.
good evening po.
Proud naman ako dito. Ito yung matinong version ni Atty. Libayan kasi pareho sila ng style nito Pero ito yung matino. Ito yung professional. Si Atty. Libayan, yung ewan ko, saan pinalaki yung sa kanto ba yung pinalaki? Tapos naging abogado lang. Tapos nag-vlog, kukuya-kuya ako
So sa mga hindi nakakakilala, bago ho kayong talagang spokesperson ni Attorney Mans Carpio.
Yes, very recent lang po. Last Monday lang.
Okay.
Finalize yung engagement.
What happened? Are you friends? Do you know each other from the past? Why the need for a spokesperson?
So, si Attorney Mans, that's the first time I met him. Si VP Sara, I've had some interaction before during my days as a former congressman in the 17th Congress. But from 2019 onwards, wala naman akong interaction with them. And then, maybe they just needed someone who can explain to the public. That's why he engaged my services.
Did you have any reservations about being his spokesperson?
So, I just checked if I had any conflicts of interest because I'm also a practicing lawyer. And wala naman. And then, I asked him about his plans, legal plans. Then, mukhang nag-aalay naman po kami. So, I accepted the legal adventure, so to speak.
Taga Davao ba kayo?
Taga Northern Samar.
Northern Samar.
Waray
I
and
see.
Bisaya.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so again, that's Attorney Abayon. For those who, I'm sure you'll start seeing him on television.
Parang takanta kasi no? Bakit mo dinidepensahan? Kasi alam mo, sa totoo lang, ito kung meron man ang mga media o kaya mga pinklawan na pinaniniwalaan, nandun sila sa bubble sila Yung akala nila lahat sila tama. Totoo, hindi ko sinasabing itong reporter na babae Pero meron kasi sa kanilang Kasi ang problema ng social media, sometimes, kung ano yung political leaning mo, yun lang ang lumalabas sa'yo. Pansinin niyo yan. Kaya nga dapat paulit-ulit ko sinasabi sa inyo, tingnan niyo yung kabilang kampo o kabilang kanto. Tingnan niyo yung argument nila. Kasi unless makita mo yon o open kang tignan yun, hindi mo talaga makukonfirm sa puso at sa isip mo na tama ang iyong pinaglalaban. Kung lagi lang ang tinitignan mo, pinapanood mo yung mga kakampi mo, natural, magpapalakpakan kayo niyan. Ganun na nangyayari sa mga pinklawan Dahil nga sa kanilang iniisip na tama lagi ang sinasabi nila. para silang tanga nagpapalakpakan sa isa't isa. Tama yung ginawa mo. Kaya nga tinan mo, lahat ng ini-interview nila, yung mga kaanib lang nila. Yung kano lang nila, pareho lang nila ng kulay. Bakit to kanyo? Kasi nga, para hindi nila makita yung buong picture. Pero buti na lang din, kahit papaano may mga ganito na nagbubukas kahit papaano doon sa kabilang panig.
To talk about the complaint filed. The complaint filed against the BSP governor, the AMLAC executive director, and some congressmen and congresswoman.
Yes.
Ay, hindi, congresswomen, dalawa, Congresswoman Luistro and Congresswoman Laila De Lima.
Yes, yes.
Nag-file po si Attorney Mans Carpio. He was together with his lawyer, Attorney Danao.
Yes,
Tama ho?
yes,
Attorney Danao.
Attorney Danao.
I think that was Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
Monday morning, yes.
That's right, no? Complaint before the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office. Basically, yung sinasabi nila, there was a violation of the Anti-Money Laundering Act,
Yes.
the Bank Secrecy Act, and the Data Privacy Act. Didiretsuhin
Yes.
ko na po ito. Bakit sila lang? Si AMLAC Executive Director, si BSP Governor, si AMLAC Chairperson, si Congresswomen Luistro, De Lima, at Congressman Sendanya at Shell Yocno po.
So, yung nag-release po kasi ng AMLAC records, well, first alleged AMLAC records because we have not received an official copy ng AMLAC records as of today. And even, prior to the hearing, up to date, wala pa po. So, since it's AMLAC, then AMLAC is under BSP, sila yung finailan. And then for the very specific Congress people, sila po kasi yung nag-motion for the issuance of subpoena, second the motion. Pero if you look at the complaint po, there's also yung John and Jane Does. So once we fully establish conspiracy between all of them, then other individuals could also still be held liable, not named currently.
But if there are, let's say, basing from the vote the other day, 58 who ata yung bumoto for the impeachment, for probable cause on Vice President Sara Duterte, would it be fair to say that it would be the 58 also? Yung isasama nyo sa...
Yung 58 po has nothing to do with this case. The vote yesterday was for probable cause.
I know.
Yes. So,
Pero sila ho kasi yung members ng House Justice Committee, hindi ho ba?
Did all 58 also vote for the subpoena? So yung pinakaano po talaga namin currently is the one who moved, then seconded the motion. And then may John and Jane Doe naman po. So there's still a chance na other congressmen and maybe even...
Ang galing ng niya doon ng paliwanag niya doon. Kasi parang sinasabi, bakit pinag-iinitan nyo lang itong mga ito? Hindi, sila ho kasi yung nag-move. Sabihin sila yung nagsabi na, sige, kunin natin ito, ilabas natin ito. Sila ho yun Hindi mo naman pwedeng ikargo mo yun doon sa ibang mga membro lamang noong Committee on Justice, di ba?
Other resource persons could also be held liable once we establish conspiracy.
Okay, quick question on that. How do you establish conspiracy?
Once, pag mapakita po namin na may concerted effort to disclose yung AMLAC records. Because the criminal act that was committed here was the illegal disclosure of the AMLAC records that allegedly belongs to Attorney Mans. Yes.
Says, of course, your camp, because there are laws being used
yes.
to protect what they did and to debunk or to
Yes.
deny what they did, calling it actually illegal. Let's talk about that so we have a better understanding of it. Section 8A of RA 9160 or AMLA
Yes.
as amended. Ito po yung ginamit ni Attorney Danao, hindi ho ba?
We use 3 laws.
Okay. Well, this is one of
Yeah,
them.
one of them. Yes, that is correct.
Basically, shall not reveal, kasi madalas po niyang sinabi, in any manner, any information known to them by reason of their office.
Yes.
Yan po yung madalas niyang ginamit. And then, binabangga naman po ng kabila doon sa Section 2 of the Bank Secrecy Law,
Yes, yes.
or Republic Act 1405, basically saying that deposits are considered confidential except upon written permission from the depositor or in cases of impeachment. How do we understand these two seemingly conflicting laws?
Number one, they're not conflicting.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look at the bank secrecy, it states their deposits. Yung Anti-Money Laundering Act talks about AMLAC records, AMLA records. So let's say yung mga covered transactions, suspicious transactions, if that is submitted to the AMLA, that is already an AMLA record. So, and if you also look at both laws, they have different penal provisions. So you can violate RA 9160 as amended, and you can also violate the bank secrecy.
Pwede.
Pwede. Those are two different laws. Plus the Data
Separately.
Privacy Act din po.
Oo.
Kasi may sensitive personal information na disclose. So the very basic naman po sa data privacy, if sensitive personal information is illegally disclosed, it also carries penal provisions.
And ano yung sensitive information?
Yung ano lang po yan, if there are multiple information, and then although it does not specifically name an individual, but if a reasonable person will view that information, he will be able to identify who that person is. That's considered sensitive. And if you illegally disclose that, meaning without consent, there's also corresponding penal
Pero
sanctions. din po.
paano ho yun kapag sinabing in cases of impeachment?
Yung sa AMLA, wala po. If you read Section 8A
Yeah, dito
of
sa bank
RA
secrecy law.
sa bank secrecy, so yung position po namin is there's still no impeachment case. The precedent that we have is the impeachment of Chief Justice Corona. So the bank deposits were disclosed in the impeachment trial court. So currently, the House of Representatives
Malinaw yan, no? Malinaw ito para sa atin mga kababayan. Ha? Kasi sinasabi dito, ang linaw-linaw. Merong precedence, ibig sabihin merong nangyari na before na inilabas lang during the impeachment trial, which is in the impeachment court, which is the Senate. Kaya nga paulit-ulit lang nila sinasabi, is this the impeachment trial or proceedings ay court na ba? Hindi pa. So ito'y paghahanap pa lamang ng probable cause. Pero dito na nilabas yung supposedly hindi dapat ilabas. Kasi remember, impeachment ang nakalagay doon. You only use the word impeachment pagka na-impeach na ang tao. Particular dito si Vice President Sara Duterte. Remember, ginagamit yung impeach na si VP Sara Duterte ay pag pinagbotohan na ng plenaryo at sinabing, oo, kami lahat ang sasabi. Kasi hindi naman sinabi diyan impeachment procedures. Diba? So, doon pa lang, yun yung argument. At dahil nga din po dyan ay may precedent sila, which is yung kay Corona, inilabas during the impeachment trial. Nung panahon na tinatry na po, ibig sabihin, nasa court na, impeachment trial court, nandun na ho sa Senate.
they are performing their constitutional mandate, which is to initiate an impeachment. And as described by the HOR themselves, it's akin to a preliminary investigation. Parehas daw po sa PI.
That's right.
So, in regular PI, wala pong court power ang investigating prosecutor.
Akin, but does not necessarily mean that what happens in the PI, they take in hook, line, and sinker. Because also under the Constitution, it says the House shall promulgate its own rules
Yes.
during the impeachment because it
Yes.
says that they have the sole jurisdiction to initiate all impeachment proceedings.
Tingnan nga natin kung paano niya sasagutin to. Kasi daw, yan ang paulit-ulit din sinasabi ng mga congressman eh. Hindi, the House can promulgate their own rules. Yung kanilang sariling rule. Okay, tingnan natin.
Under Section 7 of their rule, I'm just going to summarize it. It says that they have the authority to issue subpoenas. Kaya
Subpoenas.
dito po napunta si AMLAC. How do you respond to that?
So, like what you stated, ma'am, subpoena. Subpoena is different from a court order. So if you read the law, it states there court order or impeachment case. Subpoena pa lang po yun. Subpoena is a different legal process from a court order. A court can issue subpoena, they can also issue court orders.
Right. And
Galing Di ba? Magkaiba yun. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, alam mo, dapat siguro maging maging requirement na. Yung pagiging lawyer na bilang congressman. Kasi nawiwirdohan lang ako ha. Ito question ko lang naman. Yeah? I'm not against what's happening now. Pero may question ako. Kung ikaw ay mambabatas, di ba dapat eksperto ka sa batas? Di ba? Dapat ikaw ay may alam sa batas. O ikaw ay isang lawyer. Ngayon ko na lang nare-realize ito eh. Kasi dati medyo parang, pwede naman siguro. Pagalingan na lang siguro. Diba? Parang ganon. Pagalingan na lang ng mga consultant. Pero ngayon, tila lumalabas na mukhang tama yung sinasabi ng iba na kailangan talaga pag mambabatas ka, lawyer ka. Kasi nga, you're dealing with laws. And yet, you do not know yung mga terminology ng isang lawyer o kahit yung mismong mga terms sa batas. Halimbawa na nga lang, mamaya pag-usapan natin yung lintik na fourth wheel na yan. Eto, tulad nito, iba yung sinasabing subpoena at court order. Magkaiba yun, di ba? Napaka-importante. Ano sa tingin nyo mga kababayan? Comment nga kayo dyan. Kailangan ba ang congressman o senador ay lawyer? Kasi parang ganito Di ba pagka pulis ka o kaya sundalo ka, meron ding requirement. Hindi pa pwedeng pulis ka o sundalo ka, hindi ka marunong humawak ng baril. Di ba? Kaya nga, may training kayo Magte-training muna yung, halimbawa, sa pulis o sa sundalo, may training muna bago ka gawing pulis o gawing sundalo. Di ba? May ganun O, mismong yung kailangan mag-take ka ng, kunwari, ikaw naman ay pulis, ikaw kailangan mo mag-take ng criminal law. May ganun sila sa school Kasi nga, ikaw ang magpapatupad niyan, dapat alam mo. May requirement. Ito, mas matindi. Ikaw ang gumagawa ng batas. Ikaw may hawak ng pera ng taong bayan. Di ba? Ikaw yung nagde-deliberate. Kayong nag-aano sa impeachment. Di ba dapat mas mataas din ang ating expectation or requirement sa mga to?
And because you basically are saying this is not a
A
court.
court. So, para mas maintindihan po ninyo,
Sige.
in the court proper po kasi, dyan na talaga binabangga, kino-confront yung evidence, the very specific details, the credibility of witnesses. So dito, since they cannot do that in the HOR initiation level, kasi wala pong right to cross-examine, di ba? So they cannot, in other words, they cannot do yung sa, let me clarify, yung sa bank records, it does not fall under the exception kasi wala pa po sila nung ganun na stage that they will confront evidence and then cross-examine, the right to cross-examine. In other words, yung establishing of probable cause does not amount dun sa court level na proceedings in a Senate.
Ganito, paliwanag lang natin Kasi yung Committee on Justice, ano ba ang purpose nun? Ang purpose lang nun is to see the impeachment complaint after makuha yung substance, makita, the Committee on Justice, House Committee on Justice, titignan lang yung complaint at sasabihin, okay, there is a probable cause. Hindi ka hihingi ng ebidensya. 'Di ba? Parang sa piskal. Kaya nga sabi ko dapat talaga abogado ito mga, although may abogado rin naman doon, bobo naman, 'di ba? Kahul lang ng kahul. Isipin niyo to sa piskal. Nagreklamo yung isang tao. Sabi niya, nilibel ako ni Banatbay. Ganon. Titingnan ngayon ng piskal yan. Ano sagot mo? Subpina. Isusubpina ka ngayon ng piskal. Oy, Banatbay, eto subpina. Ano ang sagot mo dito sa... Papakita niya to anong sagot mo dito? Sagutin mo nga ito. Titingnan lang niya. Ito ang sagot. Okay. Dati to kasi ngayon iba na Ngayon kailangan ng probability of conviction. Ibig sabihin kung mukhang makukonvict siya, tsaka mo lang ipapasa sa court. Pero kung alam mong sablay na, hindi mo na ipapasa. Dati kasi iba naman, masyado mababa yung limit. Ano 'yon? Noon dati, probable cause lang. Mukhang may laban ito Mukhang pwede. Ganun lang di ba? Titingnan mo lang. Hindi ka hihingi ng, pakita nga ng ebidensya mo. Ano pa yung mga ebidensya? Hindi ka ganun kasi you are not yet the court. Alam mo, simpleng-simple nito na hindi ko maintindihan bakit yung mga tao minsan nagbubulag-bulagan. Ganyan ang problema sa mga Duterte haters Nagbubulag-bulagan sila. This is not the court to present the evidence. Dito pa lang pinresenta nila ebidensya. Hindi lang ebidensya, dinagdagan pa nila ng mga kung ano-anong akusasyon. Halimbawa kay Digamo. Halimbawa yung kay Madriaga. Halimbawa yung lahat dinagdag nila. Kaya nga 'di ba tinatawag na fishing expedition na to ng karamihan ng mga totoong abogado na hindi Duterte haters. Fishing expedition ang ginagawa ng Committee on Justice. So isa na rin itong ginawa nila yung paglabas nung AMLAC. Kasi nga sinasabi dito, 'di ba, na once the account o yung bank transaction pinasa na sa AMLAC, merong batas na nagsasabi doon na bawal. Anong ginawa nila? Inilabas nila. Dito, sumasablay talaga yung Congress, yung House. Lalong-lalo na yung di umanong may utang daw kay VP Sara Duterte. Yun yung argument niya dito na kung bakit pwede sila mag-promulgate ng sarili nilang laws but not the role of the impeachment court, which is the Senate.
Impeachment
Yeah,
trial
but if
court.
they say that they have, under Section 7, they have the right to issue subpoenas, dusus tecum,
Yes.
and ad testificandum, sabihin po nila,
Subpina, subpina. Iba ho yung subpina sa mag-gather ng evidence. Yung sinasabi ni attorney.
sinampina ko po yung records ng AMLAC. Anong gagawin ng AMLAC? Hindi sumunod?
If you read Section 8A po kasi absolute yung terms. So currently, wala po tayong
8A
precedent.
of what?
8A of RA 9160
Okay.
as amended.
Si AMLA.
Shall not disclose in any way.
Yun na
That's
nga
the specific word. So since wala pong precedent, that's a very recent amendment po, 2021.
Okay, you said there's no precedent. I spoke to, I'm still trying to understand this, attorney, no? I spoke to Congressman Sheldioc, no, also very recently, and asked him about these two provisions that seem to be contradicting each other. And basically he said there's already a Supreme Court ruling on this. Let's listen.
But actually, there was a case that already reached the Supreme Court about the Anti-Money Laundering Council and its whether it's covered and in terms of that rule on confidentiality. And in the case of Republic versus Sandigan Bayan, the Supreme Court said that the AMLAC is not a covered institution. And for various reasons said that when it comes to suspicious and covered transactions, these are not part of that. And especially if we're speaking of a Committee on Justice that is implementing a constitutional requirement. Ang kapangyarihan ng Committee on Justice ay hindi lang galing sa batas yan. That is a constitutional command for us to conduct a hearing.
Respond, attorney, please.
So yung issue po kasi talaga is, number one, whether or not the documents disclosed is part of AMLAC records. So we are of the position that's part of AMLAC records. Therefore, Section 8A applies. Kasi very clear naman po, any information shall not be disclosed in any form. So yun po yung position
But
namin.
he said there was already a ruling by the Supreme Court that AMLA is not actually covered, especially when we're talking about suspicious and covered transactions. I think that was what Attorney Sheldioc, Congressman Sheldioc
We
was
have to
saying.
check po what year yung jurisprudence kasi the amendment was very recent,
Okay.
2021.
Kailan ho siya amended, si AMLA?
2021.
2021. All right. So maybe that's also something to look at, this particular Supreme Court decision
Yes.
that was mentioned
Kasi
by
maybe that's an old
Congressman.
jurisprudence prior to the amendment.
Galing mo, Brad. Yun ang mga... Tama nga naman. Kasi maaring walang basihan noon. Ibig sabihin, walang batas noon na ganun. Ngayon, may batas na 2021 lang, very recent lang, na bawal ilabas na. Yun ang ating aalamin. Oh.
I see. Kung luma po yun, obviously, the amended version will supersede
Yes.
any
Yes.
ruling, a previous ruling by the Supreme Court.
Kasi most likely the interpretation there, if it's based on the old law, yung
Yeah.
interpretation is based on the old law.
Yeah.
So if there's a new amendment, it will supersede.
How about the fact that, well, not the fact,
Can I
rather.
comment pala, ma'am, on the
Yes,
constitutional
please, go
mandate
ahead.
that you mentioned?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Go
so
ahead.
we have to remember the fundamental basis also of these confidentiality laws is yung right to privacy. So right to privacy is also a constitutional bill of right po yan. Under Article 3 po yan.
Yun na nga po eh.
So you have to
Meron-
balance also the accountability provisions, accountability of public officers in relation to the Bill of Rights.
Right.
Because as explained po by the Supreme Court in the Duterte versus HOR case, the Bill of Rights applies in all stages of the impeachment process.
Yeah,
And
so-
a lot of balancing needs
So you
to
have
be.
the right to privacy, but how do you exact accountability? Because also when you look into some of the information that I've researched, sasabihin din po na the Constitution, what is written in the Constitution should supersede, well, number one, mamaya we'll talk about that, yung sa BIR, yung sa issue po sa BIR on what they call statutory laws, no? But for them to be able to exact accountability, which is through the impeachment proceedings, should that be able to supersede, for example, the AMLA as amended in 2021, sir?
Can you repeat the question, ma'am?
Should an impeachment proceeding under the Constitution supersede? Should it be more important? Should it have more value as compared to the AMLA as amended in 2021, as you were stating a while ago, sir?
So, it will not supersede kasi yung foundation nga po ng confidentiality laws is also a constitutional provision. So, it needs to be balanced. Currently, yung position namin, since the law is absolute, yung confidentiality, Section 8A, we are just enforcing that provision.
Not to
And
belabor.
as to the accountability aspect, ma'am, as if, let's say, umabot sa Senate impeachment trial court, and then we will just take it on a legal step-by-step basis.
We need to take a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with Attorney Neil Abayon when we return. Stay tuned. This is On Point.
Galing talaga ni attorney, no? Ma-interview natin yan mamaya, ha? Panoorin ninyo sa Vox Populi.